round 1 coverage, and we're going to look to see how much our Regulation C meta has been evolving throughout the entire time playing. And it's quite interesting to note that a lot of teams have been so very much viable throughout the entire season, where Palafin Balance has been the most dominant team, but you also cannot underestimate combinations like Chien Pao and Dragonite, Jian Pao or Dragapult to be there, as well as Fluttermane Chi-Yu or Rain Cores, you know, all the there's like a lot of things viable, but like there are some teams that stand out far above the others. So I'm looking forward to see what we're going to see between these two players, as we are going to get, if I'm correct about this, I think we're getting Ian's perspective here, which is going to be interesting because the way I'm looking at these team sheets, a lot of interesting things are coming in, but here we go. We're going to start our first battle. No, we're actually going to see this from Jacob's point of view, and we're going to see Toxicroak, Pelipper, Tinglu, Fluttermane, Tauros, Blazebreed, and Gyarados for Jacob. And for Ian McLean, we have Fluttermane, Palafin, Gyarados, Garchomp, Chien-Pao, and Amoonguss. So a Rain Core for Jacob with the Pelipper and the Gyarados, that's a combination. And for Amari, it's just a lot of good stuff going out here, but mostly physically centered with the Chien-Pao powering out the Gyarados and the Garchomp, but he has to be a little bit wary about using it because most of Ian's team is physically offensive. So a lot of interesting things are going to come out here, where we could see a potential Pelipper coming in with the Toxicroak and potentially the Gyarados as well, but also Tinglu could be there to shut down the Fluttermane and the Amoonguss from the opposing team. And so a lot of things have to go right for either player to go well, but interesting to see how these Pokemon are going to be trained, as Jacob now locks into his team. And I wonder just how good the matchup will be for both players, as 26 seconds are left on the clock to lock in their team sheet. And there's a lot of talk where Palafin's the best Pokemon in the metagame, but we don't see the usual combination here. We just see the Amoonguss and Fluttermane, but no Arcanine to be seen, as both players are now locked in, and we are going to get set to go to game number 1 of round number 1 of Gym Challenge number 8, the last tournament before the CP cap is finally granted to this tournament, which is going to be a godsend because a lot of these people are trying to fight for spots for Worlds, or like try to get their own satisfaction. And here we go. For Ian, we're going to see Fluttermane and Chien-Pao come in here. And for Jacob, it's going to be Fluttermane, Pelipper, so Fluttermane from each side of the squads. And Sword of Ruin is going to be activating, lowering the defense of every other Pokemon in play. And Drizzle going to set up the rain for Jacob, which is going to be detrimental to his strategy because a lot of his Pokemon revolve around the rain. But even so, Pokemon like Tauros and the Toxicroak, as well as like his Gyarados, like they benefit a lot from the rain, so there's gonna be a lot of debate from like, and it's also like how else are these Fluttermane going to be trained, because the way a lot of these Pokemon will prepare is if they understand their sets very well. And from what it looks of it, looks like we're gonna see it. Looking at these team sheets right here, and here we go. The first move, Jacob's gonna swap out the Fluttermane. Doesn't want to get caught off guard by the Chien-Pao, where it could potentially get the one-hit KO on it. As Wisely switches into the Tauros, going to bring the Intimidate, and not going to affect the Fluttermane as much, but will affect the Chien-Pao, clearing his attack stage by 1. And here comes the Terrestrialization coming on. This looks like to be from Ian's side. A Terrestrialization coming in. It could be Chien-Pao, but it's going to be the Balafin. It's going to be the Fluttermane. It's going to be the Fairy Terra to potentially boost his Dazzling Gleam or Moonblast that it potentially can carry. Fluttermane, most common Pokemon in the metagame right now, and we do see Dazzling Gleam come out. It's going to do a lot of damage with that Life Orb. It has held, and here it goes. Oh, a lot of damage, and not going to quite KO both Pokemon, but does with them under 80%. An Ice Spinner comes out. It's going to be intimidated, but it will not let the Pelipper survive, and Jacob loses Developer turn 1. Not ideal. And you have to wonder for Jacob, now that you have both Pokemon likely to outspeed you, your Fluttermane is going to be in a very tricky spot, because if it does not outspeed either Chien-Pao or Fluttermane, you are likely not going to be winning this game, because all 3 of those Pokemon speed tied each at 135 speed, and as much as you have the Choice Specs item on the Fluttermane, it's not going to prove beneficial because, again, it comes down to the speed of these Pokemon. And from the looks of it, it may not be so favorable for Jacob because he's taking a lot of damage already. Fluttermane's revealed the Life Orb already, which is going to boost his damage output. So it looks like to be a very speedy kind of Fluttermane. So 30 seconds left for Jacob to make a move, and I wonder what he's going to do here. And here comes the Resolution. We'll try to avoid the Ghost Weakness, which I do like, but I wonder if he gets enough damage on the Chien-Pao or the Fluttermane. But Chien-Pao it's going to be quite annoying to deal with, as the most common item has been the focus sash item to make sure it never gets one shot, or to keep the Sword of Ruin in play. We do see translations from Jacob into the Butter main going Fairy as well. Fairy seems to be the most common Terra typing right now in this metagame, and here goes a Protect from the Toro. Is going to make sure it lives to survive another turn. See what happens now. Fluttermane going to go for Dazzling Gleam. Ian's is faster apparently, or it could be a speed tie. We don't know yet. Here comes the Dazzling Gleam. That Life Orb boost and the Terra boost is going to put a lot of damage. It's going to do over half. Going to put Jacob's Fluttermane at 66 HP. Here goes the Sacred Sword. It went into the Protect of the Tauros. What does Jacob's Fluttermane do here? It has the choice specs item, as we did see on the screen. Here comes the Moonblast. It's going to go for a single target attack, and here it goes onto the Fluttermane. Will it do enough damage? It will! With that choice specs and terrestrialization, and that's a knockout for the Fluttermane onto Ian's Fluttermane. Good turnaround there for Jacob, and now the Pokemon count is even, but this Tauros is still in a very, very bad spot. And the Fluttermane as well, not in a favorable position, because Chiampao still has the likelihood of outspeeding the Fluttermane and the Tauros especially, but we have yet to see another Pokemon from Ian, and here comes the Garchomp coming in. Not sure if he's going to be in the best of spots, but as long as he knocks out the Fluttermane, I'm pretty sure Garchomp's going to appreciate Chiampao being on the field, especially with the Sword of Ruin lowering the defense stat of the Fluttermane, which already wasn't too great to begin with. This is already a very bad position for Jacob. Not great position at all. Both his Pokemon are in threat of a knockout for both the Garchomp and the Chiampao. You have to wonder what Jacob has a play at all if he could just go ahead and survive. Chiampao going to protect, however. Not going to go on the offensive, but this could get red on it. The Fluttermane didn't go for the right move. Oh, Garchomp's actually going to reveal a Choice Scarf here, as he is going to be outspeeding the Fluttermane. Something you don't see out of most Pokemon, and it will get the knockout on both Pokemon, the Tauros and the Fluttermane going down. Jacob down to his last Pokemon, and Garchomp's just stuck going for Earthquake with that Choice Scarf item, and I wonder if he's going to swap out or not. The Chiampao wise to protect there, however, might be in danger if the Garchomp sticks in and go for an Earthquake, as we do see the Toxicroak coming from Jacob, so it's not a favorable position. If Ian has the Gyarados in the back, this is already game over, but it looks like game over already because Chiampao's lowering the... He's already quad weak, so Jacob's going to go ahead and try and get some knowledge out of his Pokemon with the Drain Punch on the Chiampao, and maybe proc a potential Focus Sash right here. What does the Garchomp do here? Because as much as it wants... Okay, it's going to go for the Earthquake and damage his own Chiampao, but will soar secure one-hit knockout on the Toxicroak, and it's game 1 to Ian. Quick work there with the Chiampao and the Fluttermane doing a lot of damage. And I mean a lot. That Life Orb proving detrimental, the Fairy Terra bringing in a lot of damage. And just a lot of good play overall from both these players. And you have to wonder for Jacob if your play is to be a little bit more careful with your range setup, because you never got the Tailwind up, you got double targeted with Dazzling Gleam, a nice spinner combination. You never had anything going, because as long as your Pokemon get that sped, you really are not able to do anything in your end. And looking at from Jacob might be hard, because that Pelipper for Jacob is the only form of speed control he has, which is not proven to be helpful against something like Fluttermane, Chiampao, and a Choice Scarf Garchomp that we just revealed. And so heading into this game too, maybe some preparation, maybe the Tinglu comes out here, because the Fluttermane was doing a lot of damage with that Dazzling Gleam and that Moon, and the potential of Shadow Ball or Dazzling or Moonblast, excuse me. So I would imagine Tinglu would probably be an adaptation that Jacob would do, but at the same time, Ian can also adapt it into the Amoonguss or the Battlefin. We never got to saw his 4th Pokemon, because he just dominated that battle so comfortably. He just never had to bring that 4th Pokemon at all. So we don't know if it was Palafin, we don't know if it was Gyarados. I think it was likely Gyarados, but it could have also been the Amoonguss the entire time. So we really don't know what's going on with Ian, as we're going to see the team lock in for Jacob. A lot of things have to go in his favor in order to get back into this game, and I think the Tinglu has to play a big factor here, because the Vessel of Ruin will lower the special attack stat of that Fluttermane, which is going to be very important, especially against that Life Orb set, and the Terra Fairy boosting his Dazzling Gleam and its Moonblast. I just wonder if we're going to get anything going for Jacob, as he needs to get speed control like almost immediately against a team that really just is fast-paced in itself. Because Fluttermane Chiampao was in a lot of pressure with that double space 135 speed. It's just hard to decipher, because there are things that sometimes you may not know on the crackdown, because the way the Pokemon are being trained, it's like you can expect one set to come out on these open team sheets, or you just see a completely different thing, which may or may not be a good thing. As we're heading into this game 2 between Ian and Jacob, Ian has one more game to secure the set and the round. Fluttermane and Palafin going to be the lead this time for Ian. Going to go ahead and switch it up, and switch up as well for Jacob. It's going Pelipper Gyarados, and the rain might not be a good thing for Jacob, as the Palafin is the selection for Ian. We'll get intimidated, but it's likely to be switching out turn 1, because that's what most Palafins do in this metagame, because not a lot of them run flip turn. Zero form is already in danger of yourself. You just gotta wonder what the Gyarados does here. If Gyarados lives the turn and potentially goes with the Dragon Dance that it may have, instead we're gonna see it go for the Waterfall. If it went for the Dragon Dance, it probably would have had a lot of potential to outspeed both Jampao and Fluttermane and deal massive damage with the Waterfall, especially in the rain. I just wonder if Ian's going to stay in with the Palafin, which I heavily doubt it'll do, but I'm more curious to see what Fluttermane does, because Gyarados threatens a one-hit knockout with the Waterfall, especially with the rain. It may not get the one-hit knockout on the Pelipper, and probably will secure speed control for him in the long term. We see Palafin switch out into the Gyarados of Ian's own, and it's going to be the shiny Gyarados as well, so we have distinct color differentials, and we'll go ahead and importantly lower that attack stat of Gyarados to potentially live a Waterfall. We're going to see a Terrazzo Edition come out from Ian already, and it's going to be the Fluttermane Fairy again, so he's probably looking for a one-hit knockout with the Moonblast potentially. Because we saw how much damage that Dazzling Gleam did to the Pelipper. It did not one-hit KO it. It may not one-hit KO the Gyarados either. And it is going to be the Moonblast coming in. Will it go to the Pelipper? It is not. It's going to go into the Gyarados, and it's going to live on 40 HP. So Fluttermane likely to go down here because of the Waterfall. And there's the Tailwind coming out from Jacob. Going to get that early speed control so that he can never get outsped for the next 3 turns. And here comes the Waterfall into the Fluttermane with the Intimidate. Oh, he lives! The Intimidate mattering, but Fluttermane not only has 1 turn to do an attack because the Life Orb will knock it out, but also the Pelipper can knock it out too because of the speed control problem that Jacob was able to gain as an advantage. And then Gyarados here, who knows if he's in a great spot, because we've seen an offensive Gyarados from Jacob, and recently in this metagame, Gyarados have been leaning towards more of a defensive supportive role, which could prove to be very powerful if he plays cards correctly. And here comes the Protector Jacob. Not going to want to scout out what the Gyarados or Fluttermane do, and the Fluttermane does indeed protect, so it's going to live another turn. But again, if it attacks one more time, it will faint to its own Life Orb. U-turn coming in from Pelipper, going to go straight into the Protect. The Gyarados from Ian, what will it do here? It's going to go for the Waterfall and also into the Protect of the Gyarados. A little bit of a nothing turn there, but it did stall out a turn to Tailwind, so there's only 2 turns where the Pelipper and Gyarados for Jacob are going to be outspeeding all of Ian's Pokemon. They're going to be seeing a potential swap out here. I wonder what this is going to be for. It might be go ahead and predict another Waterfall to come out, as Gyarados will swap out. We do know that -1 did not get a knockout onto the Fluttermane with the rain, but here comes Toxicroak going to go ahead and come in with the Dry Skin, potentially eat up any water type attacks that can make it on his way. U-turn's going to secure a knockout onto the Fluttermane, and Pelipper will switch out to a new partner. There's a Gyarados ready to go for an Intimidate, but also Jacob has 1 more Pokemon in the back that he could just be revealing in this very instance. It looks like to be the Fluttermane coming in, and it will be the Fluttermane coming in for Jacob. The Choice Specs item, and now the Tailwind speed control. He might only have 1 turn on it. Oh, he didn't even go for the Gyarados there, and gets 1-hit knockout on the Fluttermane. We're going to be trading knockouts of Fluttermane. Jacob definitely was not expecting the Waterfall to go into the Pelipper slot. Maybe was predicting that U-turn to come out after he saw it the first time. It's a little unbelievable that Fluttermane did take up the 1-hit knockout for the rain, but that's the disadvantage of running rain. And now Ian has a Palafin ready to come in with full power, with going into hero form. Gyarados comes in to provide the Intimidate it desperately needed, and here goes the Palafin coming in into its heroic form. Looks to be the Gavin Michaels version, where it's carrying out that Cherish Ball as well. The Intimidate going to come in and lower the attack of Gyarados and Palafin. However, the rain is up, and with rain up, it may not do anything to the Toxicroak, but Gyarados in immediate danger of a Jet Punch KO. So I could very well see a Protect coming in from the Gyarados. Because as slow as it is, maybe it might be a good idea to stall at your own rain, especially if actually, you know, the Pelipper's in the back. Drizzle's going to be a big problem if he gets it up again in a very disadvantageous position. Here comes the moves coming in. Jet Punch gonna take out the Gyarados, now putting Jacob down to 2 Pokemon. What does Gyarados do here for Jacob? It's gonna go for the Drain Punch into the Palafin. Not great damage, but still decent enough. And here comes a normal Terra Blast. It's gonna be a special attacker because it's not Terrasilize. Got the critical hit on top of that. And there's the Dry Skin gonna go ahead and heal it almost to full, and the Tailwind is gone. So it is down to Pelipper Toxicroak for Jacob, while Ian has a Gyarados and Palafin at -1 attack, but with the rain, may not matter. Gotta look at your win conditions right now, as you might need to get another Tailwind up, or maybe you need to start doing damage to the Hurricane that we see, especially with that 100% accuracy. Maybe the last opportunity to get 100% out of your Hurricane. And here comes the move coming in. Feint coming in from the Toxicroak. Go ahead and use it on the Palafin to make sure it blocks the Protect. You're going to Hurricane into the Palafin as well. And then go ahead and take that out pretty well. Here goes a Wake Crash into rain at -1. Gonna go ahead and do half damage, getting it down to 74 HP. Palafin will take some recoil damage. And now we see the Waterfall coming in into the Pelipper slot. Not gonna do a lot of damage, but it will put it at under 75%, and the rain is gone. No rain, meaning Hurricane is now down to his default accuracy of 70%, which not going to be sounding great if you're Jacob right now. You need more of your hits to connect. You're chipping down to your Pokemon pretty well, and the switch out coming in from Gyarados. Let's see what Ian's last Pokemon is going to be, and it's going to be the Amoonguss coming in. A defensive Pokemon going to come in. See what it can do here. Hurricane, it connects into the Amoonguss. It's going to do a lot of damage, over half damage into the 50%, and confuses it as well. That confusion is going to matter a lot once the switch is on. Here comes the Citrus Spray, going to go ahead and heal 25% of his health. Get it back nice and comfortably to maybe activate the Regenerator to get back to full HP. You're going to Wake Crash. Probably going to knock the Pelipper here at the damage range. Yes, it will. And Jacob now down to his last Pokemon. And the Toxicroak being prone to Intimidate at this point. Who knows what the Toxicroak did here. Went for the Poison Jab into the Amoonguss slot. Not going to poison it because it's a Poison type, but it's still not in a great spot, because unless you get a critical hit on the Gyarados, this battle may be over. This battle, it will come down to a damage roll and a critical hit, or we're going to see a swap with the Amoonguss to make sure we don't get into a damage roll situation, especially with that Citrus Berry and Regenerator recovery. Going to go ahead and also intimidate the Gyarados in the process. Palafin, the Dry Skin is really going to hamper it. Yeah, it's forcing it to protect itself, because it's not in a great spot to do any attacking damage because of that Dry Skin ability. Poison Jab going to come in into the Gyarados. Going to take a critical. Oh my god, it was a critical hit. How did I call that? A critical hit, who knows if it was not enough to knock out the Amoonguss at that range, but if it did, it would have swung the game into Jacob's favor. But unfortunately, we're still in a very disadvantageous spot, because the Terra Blast from Gyarados was already doing very little damage, and here's a double. Yeah, just let double protect him because it can't do much of anything. Let's see if Jacob recognizes the threat. Here goes another Joey with Jab. We will get a poison. No poison comes out. Here goes the Terra Blast. We saw how little it did because it's assuming a special attack damage. Yeah, it's just very laughable because the Terastallization has already been used at the Flutter Mane. This battle may not be over, ladies and gentlemen. The Toxicroak could actually bring the battle back, because Palafin, from this open team, she only has water type attacks for his attacking moves, and another Protect comes out, so it's not great right now. Here's a Sucker Punch, perfectly predicting an attack to the Gyarados. And down it goes. We're down to 2v1. This Toxicroak's putting in a lot of work against this Palafin, and soon to be this Amoonguss. This is going to be a crazy ending coming in, but this Amoonguss may... Okay, so over 50% HP. Poison Jab's going to be doing an interesting amount of damage, but again, I think you need a critical hit in order to do like a lot of damage with it. And wow, it's a double Protect on top of that. It's just left protecting, which is the worst part about this situation for Ian. And here goes a Poison Jab. Not going to do, it's around 25%, but down goes the Toxicroak to sleep. This is a dire situation for Jacob, because assuming most Amoonguss run only the Pollen Puff attack, because a Clear Smock's not been good. A triple Protect comes in. This Palafin's trying to stall out. It's trying its best not to use Haze, because most Palafin runs Haze. And here goes Pollen Puff into the Toxicroak. We do see his Assault Vest doing 6 whole HP. So, okay, Ian needs a lot of sleep turns to go in his favor. The first turn was guaranteed there. If Toxicroak wakes up here, Amoonguss may be in a great deal of trouble. Here goes another Protect coming in from Ian. Trying to his best to avoid using water moves, trying to best to oh, one turn wake up comes in from the Toxicroak. Here goes the Poison Jab again. Gonna put Amoonguss into the red. Here goes the Pollen Puff. Not gonna do a lot of damage to the Toxicroak. It may should. May not be a good situation right now for the Palafin. I think Jacob might actually take this in game 3. This Toxicroak, and the battle is canceled. We're going to game 3 off the back of Toxicroak. Holy! Wow. Toxicroak, known for being a detrimental counter to a lot of rain type teams or like water types in general, proves to be why it was feared in previous metagames. 2019 and 2022 were big examples of it. And here it is back again in 2023 in Regulation C. Go ahead and countering Palafin to the best of degree. It is a great adaptation because the Toxicroak actually came through there. But also the Pelipper was actually allowed to get that tailwind up without a problem. Now that we know that Terra, Fairy, Life Orb boosted Moonblast will not score a one-hit knockout on Gyarados. This is going to be a crazy finish here. And hold your breath, everyone. We might get a close finish. Everyone in the stream chat right now, we're going to see a lot of crazy things going on. Pelipper still detrimental to so here's the thing about with Ian that he has to think about now. That tailwind actually proved to be a problem because the turns that he had the speed control against his favor because of the fact that Fluttermane and GM are as fast as they are. If you don't have the speed control at all, you're not going to be in a great position to draw out your attacks like the Ice Spinner that GM has, or even the Dazzling Gleam or Moonblast that he has. Just as long as the Pelipper gets up the tailwind, Jacob's in a very favorable position. And it's just really nice to see that the Toxicroak is actually the reason he won game 2, but the Palafin didn't look to be a great adaptation for Ian because they never even got a chance to do most of his attacks because it was a -1 attack. It was great crashing water types. And here we go, we're going to game 3. Are there going to see different leads from both these players? Ian might not even go for the Palafin here. He's going to go Gyarados Garchomp here, the classic lead from previous metagames. However, Gyarados for Jacob going to go stick with the lead that won in game 2, while Ian's going to go ahead and do a completely new lead of Gyarados and Garchomp. And we do see Jacob's Gyarados is actually faster than Ian's Gyarados based on the way the Intimidate's activated first. Speed control very important for the Pelipper here, but Choice Scarf Garchomp can put a lot of damage with a move like Rock Slide. So we're going to see if there's going to be any issues coming in for accuracy checks. Because Rock Slide, as reliable as it is for doing good rock damage, that's the tendency to miss. So either it hits or miss. It either hits or misses, and most of us don't even know what it'll really do. Gyarados going to swap out here for Ian. Got his Intimidate onto Jacob's Gyarados, and we're going to see a Fluttermane come in here. We know it survives a waterfall from that range in the rain, so it's not in really much danger. Here comes a Rock Slide, going to do a lot of damage to the Gyarados. Is that a critical hit? It is a critical hit. And here goes a Tailwind coming in for Jacob. There it is. The speed control now going to go in his favor unless the Choice Scarf actually moved for the official. The Dragon Dance comes in. We do not see a flinch. We don't see a flinch. And now Gyarados back to neutral attack and now has a +1 speed boost. It will be outspeeding the Fluttermane now and will start a one-hit knockout unless it swaps back out into Gyarados. I'm gonna hold my breath here. Pelipper is going to go for... It's interesting that this Pelipper is carrying Chilling Water over Hydro Pump because the difference between Hydro Pump and Chilling Water is the accuracy, but also the power, because Hydro Pump does a lot of power, but wields that tendency to miss. With Chilling Water, it's going to do minimal damage, but always hit and get an attack drop, which is going to be very important against this Garchomp here. It's locked into Rock Slide. Here goes a Waterfall. It will be a knockout because the last time it was there, it was a -1 attack. Fluttermane going to do nothing there as it goes down to a Waterfall quick. Will Garchomp outspeed though? It will not outspeed. Chilling Water will connect. Going to do a decent amount of damage. And go ahead and get the attack drop as well. Here's another Rock Slide coming in. There's the normal damage coming in from the Gyarados. Without that critical hit, held her down to half HP. And back comes out Ian's Gyarados. Going to go get that Intimidate back up. And once again. However, it's at +1 speed, so it could have... It's at low HP, so it may not matter. Could get a couple damage... Could get another Waterfall off of the Garchomp or start getting more attacks onto the Garchomp. Gyarados may not be as much of a factor because of how much Hurricane might do to the Gyarados, but the Garchomp's just stuck here using Rock Slide because of that Choice Scarf. And it's going to be very important to manage the situation because Garchomp, if it goes down, it may be game over for Ian. Yeah, very much so. Go ahead and swap out that Garchomp here. Who's the last Pokemon for Ian's side? And it's going to be Qianpao. Going to go ahead and probably boost up the Waterfall damage in that rain with that Sword of Ruin ability. But again, Gyarados is just not going to be at that speed. Here comes the Translation coming up from Ian. It's going to be the Gyarados here. It's going to be Flying Terra. So we're not. This could be dangerous if the Gyarados was doubled up here because you now lose the water resist. However, you gain the Terra Blast that it has on its open team sheet, where it's going to finally use its physical attack to its advantage. Here's a Waterfall into the Qianpao at -1 attack, going to do over half damage. And here's a Hurricane doubling up into the Qianpao. Going to go ahead and take that knockout, whip it, and no more Sword of Ruin is in play. Gyarados likely to trade with a Pokemon here with the Terra Blast, but depending on who this trades with, this may not be a good trade, and we'll be trading with the Gyarados. So Gyarados were Gyarados, but Gyarados took a Flutter Mane and a Qianpao with it. So we have a Choice Scarf Garchomp for Ian, and as we see in this ring, have a Tauros and a Flutter Mane for Jacob. Jacob in a great spot after looking really bad at game one. Great adaptations coming in from here. Here comes Garchomp, gonna go ahead and get intimidated. Based with that Tauros Blaze Breed into the Garchomp and the Gyarados, which will be a lot less damage from previous times. And I think, yeah, there's only one turn left to Tailwind for Jacob. So the Gyarados could be protecting here. But Garchomp can't protect because we've seen a Choice Scarf from it already. And we do see both players walking their moves quick. There's a Rock Slide from the Tauros, not going to do a lot of damage to the Garchomp. Gyarados takes a decent amount because it's still weak to that flying type attack. And here comes the Chilling Water into the Garchomp. Decent damage will lower its attack. So it's gonna, Earthquake is going to do a lot of damage. Oh no, the flinch! The flinch coming into the Garchomp off that Rock Slide, but the Terra Blast will come in into the Pelipper. Will it live? It will live at 14 HP. Tailwind's gone, meaning that the Garchomp will get an attack off, but it's at -1. No, it's a -2 for the Chilling Water and the Intimidate. It's not a great position for him. He can just, Jacob can just maybe reset Tailwind or just go off for an attack. I don't think the Tauros is really being threatened of a knockout. But then again, it also depends on how many turns. Oh, one turn left to rain right now for the pallet for Jacob's side. So you're gonna see a Terrestrialization coming out from the Tauros. He's really thinking about it because you don't want to take. Yeah, he's gonna go ahead and Terrestrialize. So the reasoning behind this Terrestrialization here is because Tauros is a fire fighting type, so it doesn't want to be weak to that Terra Blast that Gyarados potentially has. He would rather take a Waterfall than a Terra Blast right now. At least for the situation that we are experiencing. And Tauros, well, so here's the Rock Slide first of all. Now he's going to be weak to it because of the fighting resist being gone, but Pelipper will go down. So it's an even score now. Tauros probably will be outspeeding here, will double connect the Rock Slide. How much damage is it going to do to the Gyarados? Decent amount. Will it flinch? It's the biggest question we had to ask, and it is flinch. Rain's gone, meaning Waterfall's going to do less damage. But now the question becomes, how much does a -2 Garchomp with Rock Slide do to a Flutter Mane at 144 HP? Dazzling Gleam threatens both Milkamon to be KO'd. So does the Rock Slide. Jacob's in a very favorable position to win this game. And this just shows you that adaptation is key in this game. Okay, here's the Rock Slide. Will double connect. Probably needs a couple flinches to go in Ian's favor. No flinches comes out. Dazzling Gleam gonna take a double knockout. Jacob wins round 1, 2-1, in an impressive comeback fashion on top of that. Congratulations there. Jacob came in here with this Rain team. He looked a little shaky to start. Then went to game 2. Ian tried to go for the Palafin strategy. Did not go in his favor, as the Toxicroak was actually able to wall out Ian's Palafin to a lesser extent. And then game 3, he tried to go Garchomp Gyarados, but was quickly outclassed by the Pelipper and the Gyarados. And the turn that he got to Dragon Dance was not a good favor, because it got to reset this attack to neutral, got his +1 speed boost. Just what a set to start the game. I mean, watch this tournament become CP. Both these players have fought for CP that they want, and the fact that we're not getting it still is a little bit sad, but we're getting CP the next tournament, so be sure to be on the lookout for that. And we're not going to wait round 2, as I'm going to try to debrief as much as I could for this game. That Palafin that Ian had game 2, it would have been beneficial if it weren't for that Toxicroak. And this is a well-rounded game. So we're going to go to break. We're going to be waiting for round 2 shortly up, and stay tuned. We'll get round 2 of you guys shortly.